check my bank account real quick. Is that right?
Yeah, go ahead. We got time.
Hello, I'm Matthew Rowe. I'd like to check my bank account status, please.
Yes, sir. Just one moment, please. How do you spell your last name?
R-O-E.
Thank you, sir. According to our records, you have 0 fucks left.
So I have 0 fucks left to give?
That is correct, sir.
Thank you. Ha! Fuck. I am not amused. I am not amused, lighthearted, or fucking jovial.
Are you whimsical?
No!
Well, if you
But this movie wants you to be!
if you couldn't tell, we watched a movie today. A talking cat? That's the title. It's not just me being incredulous. That's it.
And this isn't cats and dogs. This isn't a fun movie.
It's a movie about a talking cat, kind of.
Question mark, exclamation point.
Excellent. So yeah, Matt, how do you feel about this movie?
From the beginning of the film, I could tell that I was not going to have a good time with this.
Well, I guess let's give a little bit of backstory here. On Netflix, there is a series of questionable horror films called the 1313 series.
We've always kept seeing them, but we've never actually had the guts to actually watch them yet.
Yeah,
Or just not the dexterity.
I was this close to picking one today.
We almost did one.
This close, but then we looked into it a little bit. We watched a trailer. Oh dear God, we watched a trailer.
We watched a couple trailers, actually.
They were
One.
bad.
They're all shot at the same house.
Yeah. Every single one directed by this director is shot at the exact same house.
I forget his name.
David DeKikadoo. Something like that. David De...
Doesn't matter anyway, because half of the movies that he's ever done, he's used aliases. And they're not Alan Smithy aliases. He actually uses women's names, too.
Mary Crawford?
Was Mary Crawford this one?
I don't know.
I think it was.
Point being.
Yeah, it was.
We went and we couldn't decide on 1313, but then I saw in his filmography there was a talking cat.
His most recent film on IMDb was a movie called A Talking Cat.
So we clicked it, and it brought us to Netflix, and we saw that it was on instant streaming. So we thought, Matt, I am going to torture you within an inch of your life.
Yeah, it was his turn to pick the movie this time.
And so we watched it, and I regret my decision.
So, plot?
Oh, right, plot. Just give me like 30 seconds. I don't even need it all. So, there is this talking cat named Duffy who appears and just makes conversation with these two families that each have issues, trying to bring them together into one big happy family. And there's misunderstandings and there's some accidents that kind of stop that from happening throughout the course of the movie. But of course, it's a children's film, so it's all made up in the end and everyone's happy. And it's a really bad movie. And plot.
It's not even really enjoyable to make fun of. I mean, there are plenty of bad films, especially bad kids' films involving animals, or especially talking animals for that matter.
Should we watch Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2?
Shush! Shut your mouth! No, I'm not subjecting myself to that. But having said that, okay, let's just talk at first about the actors.
Actors, all right.
And first, the person who does the inner monologue / talking of the cat Duffy. We both came to this realization earlier on in the movie.
God.
One, it's very obvious that this guy is not giving his lines in a sound booth. Sounds like he's giving his lines in a kitchen.
Yeah, I said like a restaurant.
There's an echo. There's an echo there. And once, I swear to God, I thought I heard a script page turn. I don't know if it was true. I don't know if I was looking for it or not, but I seriously think I heard it. But
2. He's drunk.
He's so drunk.
He's fucking wasted.
You can tell that this is a guy who came in here, did all the voice acting in one go, and then got his money's worth. And he was probably sucking down scotch the whole time that he was doing this.
There was one time when the cat is drinking, and they had him go.
He's drinking milk.
A sober man does not make that sound.
Well, you can.
We did. Just now. Okay, I take back what I said. But he was drunk.
But he's getting paid for this.
He was drunk.
And I can't. Why do I always keep forgetting his name? The actor.
Eric something. I hope.
No, it's not. No,
it's not?
Because we watched the Fluke trailer. And that's Eric Stoltz.
Damn.
Yeah, we watched.
Different movie. Don't worry about it.
It was one of the recommendations off the ending credits. It was a movie called Fluke with Matthew Modine and Samuel L. Jackson of all people. But besides that point,
here's the actor's name.
Yeah, I know that dude. Like, I don't know.
He's done things.
He's done things. He's been in shit. Like, But I think that's entirely where the entire budget of this movie went to, was just securing probably him. And he also doesn't even talk that much.
That's the whole thing. A talking cat isn't about a talking cat. It's about
it's
the two families.
It's barely has the cat in it. And also the crises that happen revolving around the cat.
Oh my god.
Are so phoned in because there is no reason for any of these characters to care remotely about this cat, or to the degree that they apparently do.
Alright, so I'm just going to give you a more in-depth figure thing. Hope you don't mind. You can stop me at any point if you have to comment on a character. I'm just going to give you each of the character things. You have the father. The father is a... what's the best way to put it? He's a code monkey for some corporation, and he's really good at computers and stuff, but he sold the code and he retired, so now he's staying at home with his teenage son, who is very ambiguously gay. Not in character, but in actor. Start on an episode of Glee, if that helps.
That doesn't necessarily mean anything, but at the same time, he's... And we're not trying to stereotype anybody here, but he's got the sibling ass. This guy literally came out and was like, yeah, I think that he might be gay.
When you walk into a scene talking about clothing, sitting like this...
And also when he walks into the pool, he's like this, like almost, like, I'm like, you don't have tits. You have nothing to cover here.
We don't care if you're gay.
I know.
But you're really gay.
And also, this character was supposed to be, like, really, really, like, iffy about talking to girls and stuff like that. And I'm like, this literally just seems like the awkward gay friend.
He got a call from a girl asking for tutoring. Didn't know what she looked like. Not even what
Didn't even know her name.
And he's like, oh, yeah, I mean, I could tutor you. I mean, it's... No shoes, no shirt, no service.
This is at the very beginning of the film. You get this little bit of narration from the cat, which is fucking awful, by
It's
the
like,
way.
you can't even hear it.
You can't even hear what's really being said.
You know,
and then
I'm
you just...
a cat, and I'm helping you.
A cat as smart as me. Oh, give me the fucking tequila. But then it jumps right into these two people, who I give absolutely no fucks about.
None.
I have no fucks to give for this movie.
And it's the stereotypical, like, the father and the son, they just aren't bonding, but you know by the end of the film, they're gonna pull through. They're gonna be a family again.
Yeah, but no. Nothing changes. They don't go through any story arc whatsoever.
In fact, both of them go through a mild story arc with the other family. The other family consists of a sister character, who is extremely smart, but a bit uptight and, overall bitchy. She's a...
You only know this because she's bitchy toward her sister, and she apparently... Her brother.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Brother.
Sorry. He bitched so much, it was almost weird to see that he didn't have a vagina himself.
Yeah.
But, the thing is, though, like, yeah, she just bitches to her brother, and then... The fact that she's on her computer the whole time, I guess she's smart.
Apparently she's a code monkey, too.
Yeah, okay. This is coming from someone who doesn't really know how to do coding and whatnot. Like, I mean, David does. Like, he runs our website, so he knows how to do coding far more than I do.
I'm nowhere close to that.
Oh no! I mean, there's tons of people who are better than everybody else. But the funny thing is, the person who wrote this script has no idea what coding is, and if they do, they sure the hell do not know how to design it off that website that we saw.
Oh no, that was
like this. Hey, you know what? One website you want to know that's really awful, that's still around, that's been around since the 90s.
You're gonna say it, aren't you?
Yeah, it's the Space Jam website.
Yeah.
It's still up.
I love
it
that.
Still functions.
It's so fun,
and it's one of the worst examples of fucking coding on the internet that you've ever seen.
That's just the 90s. That's the 90s coding.
But it was because it was new.
What we're saying is they brought up a website earlier on in the film, and it was
apparently this guy's made millions of dollars doing this.
It was just a PNG image. It was just a flat image that they just scrolled up and down.
It's like what I did for Visual Concepts 3 at UNBC.
I don't know what that means.
In other words, it was like maybe half an hour's worth of work in Dreamweaver.
There you go. So after that, you got the brother, since we were talking about him.
Who was introduced in this movie. And also, this is the only movie this actor has been in.
His name was Daniel Dan something.
Daniel Banana.
There, I like that name.
Because his last name has like 3 A's and
so
and stuff.
Danny Banani has...
Danny Banani.
Danny Banani has the twin brother of that original bitchy girl. And it's just like sibling rivalry between the two, but because she's smart and this guy doesn't know what he wants
he's
to do
apparently
in life,
just not driven in life at
all.
all.
Slacker.
Yet that has nothing to do with not knowing what you want to do.
The point is, he's mildly depressed throughout the beginning of the film. Because
even though you'd really have to be hard-pressed to actually know if he was depressed or not, because he never changes his fucking facial expression.
No, actually, I'm going to fight you on that one. I think he showed off way too much depression. Like, when he was happy, he was like, yeah! Let's go swimming! You're doing great! But when he was depressed, he's like, yeah, Mom, look, I'm just...
Yeah, his exhale was like twice.
He was sighing a lot. And then there was the mother character, who is a, culinary artist who made cheese puffs.
Are you sure that she's a culinary artist?
She made culinary pastries and stuff. I don't know if artist fits in there.
I don't know, but at the same time, like, I know she was making food. I don't know exactly what meeting she was making it for, why it was important. Investors in fucking what?
Pastries. You think those creeps make themselves?
No, but I have very rarely seen on the back of a cupcakes box the investors that went through to make that possible.
Little things. But yeah, so then that family meets up with the first family, and
because of
Duffy the talking cat.
No, it's not even just the cat, it's just several reasons.
No, it was the cat. Because here's what the cat's thing is. He can talk, but
he only talks once to each person.
Only one little, not even just like one line. It's not one line, it's one, maybe 2-minute segment. And then he's done talking to that person forever, for eternity. That's it.
And he never ends up saying anything really helpful.
No.
He just ends up saying shit that's really cryptic and annoying.
The father character is like, go for a walk in the woods. The sister character is like, look at your computer. The brother character, I'm a talking cat. I have a magic collar out in the woods. That's a thing.
Subtle.
He doesn't even cheer up that kid. The kid who's depressed.
Like, yo, I'm a talking cat.
Well, I guess I'm happy now. Things turned out for the better. And yeah, that's...
And also, none of these people ever react the right way you would react if there was a cat that started talking to you.
Imagine...
Especially a drunk cat.
Imagine Matt is this talking drunk cat, and I'm a generic character from this movie.
Oh, sir?
Who said that?
This is I. Cat.
A talking cat? This can't be real. Well, talking cat, let me tell you my problems. You see,
that's basically it. I mean, I'm sorry. If a cat started talking to me like the Cheshire Cat, I'd shit my pants.
Here's a realistic reaction.
Hi. Yeah, that's about right. If there was a cat that started talking to me, I would literally shit bricks. But
we spent 15 minutes on the acting.
Since we are in this world, well, moving on from the acting into the writing, because these are the two most glaring issues of this movie. Because these are the reasons why none of this stuff works. The writing is appalling.
If you've ever seen people talk, like in a conversation, they are familiar with each other and they speak to each other. This movie has never seen those two people. Never.
They don't understand the dynamic of the family here. Regardless of whether or not the family is dysfunctional, whether the family is happy-go-lucky, regardless of what it is, all of these characters are flat as cardboard.
Like the kids. All the kids...
They all act the same.
Well, no, at the same...
Except for the quasi-gay kid who's just, like, scared to doggy paddle in the water.
But here's the thing.
He's scared of pool
sharks. All the kids don't treat their parents like parents.
No, they don't.
They treat... I mean,
they treat him like the friend that never wants to leave.
Exactly. It's like the rebellious teenage phase, and I get that. I get that phase. But this writer did it.
This is another thing, too. I have a feeling that these characters that they were written for were actually a couple of years younger than what these actors were.
One of the kids doesn't know how to swim. And I'm not saying that knowing how to swim is relative to age.
I mean, I know people who are almost my age who do not know how to swim.
But it's when he learned how to swim that, and even before he did, he was like, oh God, in the water, I'm going to get eaten by sharks. Pool sharks. I hate pool sharks.
I had that fear when I was 10.
Yeah.
Because I just watched Jaws and our pool had a glowing blue light at the deep end. So...
And then when he learns how to swim, when the kid teaches him how to swim, he's like, yeah, I'm doing it!
He's not even swimming either. He's doggy paddling. Yeah, $5 says that he was actually just walking on his feet. He was actually walking along the bottom of the pool by moving his arms. You couldn't tell.
Yeah, I wouldn't take that bet. I'm pretty sure you're right.
I mean, the way that this movie was done was so lazy. Oh yeah, here's another thing, too. This movie was primarily shot in the same house as all the 1313 movies.
That was the other thing.
That was as soon as the movie began. Like, we were, alright, woods, cat, alright, house, alright, wait a minute, this house, wait a minute, that's the house!
Like we said, we haven't seen 13, but we watched 2 trailers. Both those trailers had that same house, all the same items in it. They didn't change a goddamn thing.
They didn't even change the setup of the furniture.
And Matt said this earlier. If it's limitations, that's fine. If you cannot find another place to shoot, that's fine.
But obviously you guys have enough money to be able to get other locations.
I don't even know where the money went.
I don't even know where the money came from.
So, all right.
Unless it was just right out of pocket, because the house that they shot this in was literally, there's this one scene where you if you see it, the very top of the frame is cutting out the Hollywood Hills sign.
It's right on fucking Hollywood.
Yeah, it's right in Beverly Hills. This house must have cost several $1 million at least.
Okay.
So
we need to get away from writing. All right. So
I know, but I'm just baffled because the fact of the matter is this is totally the director's house.
It is.
This is totally the director's house.
Or a producer.
All right, and the fans of the Cinema Snob might know this. The reason that fans of the Cinema Snob might find this interesting is because this movie was created by the director who did the movie Creepazoids, whom the Cinema Snob reviewed. This is also like the fucking Death Nurse movies, which are all shot in the director's house. They don't do a damn thing to try to change anything. You just kind of hope that whoever's watching this movie didn't see your last one. And I'm like, I know how this goes, because that's how a lot of my earlier works were. But you know what? I was 17 years old. That is a legitimate excuse.
This guy's
52. This guy is in his 50s. And this guy has worked with Roger Corman and all sorts of things. There is no excuse for this shit.
Cinematography. The cinematography is pretty bland. It's static shots. Occasionally it pans or zooms out or zooms in, but mostly it's a medium shot.
Medium to medium long.
Medium long, just staying
medium wide.
Center frame, focused on whatever they're talking about.
Or they do lots of over-the-shoulder stuff. That's how they do every conversation. Over the shoulder.
I don't even think it was over the shoulder.
The camera setup is basically set up. It's set up in a 2-shot. And it never diverted from 2 shots.
No.
None of these characters knew how... None of these characters were real. None of these characters had any element of realism to them. And now, there can be plenty of movies that, you have highly mannerist acting and whatnot, especially if you go back and, the melodrama of the 50s and all that stuff. The way that they act is not real. It's not legitimate. But it was known for that time. That was the style of the time. This is just fucking bad. I am bereft of words to describe how unbelievably bereft of words I am to describe this fucking movie. It's just bad. It's not enjoyable. I almost fell asleep during it.
You did fall asleep during it.
Almost. I was still awake the whole time.
I tried signaling him like, Matt. And then you woke up.
I was awake!
Anyway, a few more things and then we'll wrap it up. The score. The musical overture that accompanied the entire thing. Yeah.
Which literally was the entire movie. It, never left.
There were a few times when it slowed down, but mostly it was just...
Whimsy. Just whimsy. Lots and lots of whimsy.
It's great.
This movie was trying to be more whimsy than a fucking Disney film. Even Disney knew when to be serious.
The cat got hit by a car in the end.
And it still had whimsy music playing.
It still had whimsy.
It was like, alright, the cat was laying on the bed with a half-ass gauze bandage around his head.
Whatever.
And it was like, they're supposed to be all serious about this stuff.
This cat's going to die.
Even though it's only been what, is it still only 1 day since this has been happening?
No. This has been happening over the course of at least 3.
So, alright, it's been a couple days. But they've known this stray cat for a couple days. And all of a sudden, all these people are so unbelievably emotionally invested in the fact that this cat has been hit by a car.
Don't look at Duffy.
Which was horribly edited, by the way.
Oh my god, it was terrible. It was, it's taint light. I know we keep going back to it. But there's
that's the base.
Yeah, there's that one shot when the car's coming up, and it's just the stereotypical, the car brakes just in front of the camera, and you just edit it to make it look like the cat got hit. That's what it did, except it did it even worse than Paint.
Yeah, it didn't even do that. It showed the cat, it showed the car screeching, and then it just
cut to a beach.
It cut to a camera going like this.
And then
it cut away, literally after half a second. And...
Well, hold on. One thing. When the cat's lying there, first off, everyone's like, oh god, this Duffy's gonna die. And then they realize, wait a minute, he's a magic cat. Maybe if we find his magic collar, it'll have enough magic to save him. So they go out and they find the magic collar and they put it on. And magic glowing stuff happens, but I expected that. What I didn't expect was the most beautiful line ever delivered. Matt, play the woman so I can play the man, because I want to say my line here. Your line is, what just happened? Or, no, yeah.
Yeah,
that's it. What just happened? So, the cat just stopped glowing.
Yeah, it's glowing. Safe. It's like things are shooting off of it and whatnot, like stars and shit.
And they're all just staring there in amazement. And then...
What just happened?
We just did something.
Oh!
That's my favorite line.
We just did something. That was literally... Not only... That was literally the screenwriter and every other... aspect of those people literally saying, we have no idea what we just watched.
Exactly.
Because everything was done in post.
That's why it was so funny.
It was so bad.
There was one part when the magic...
Oh yeah, when the cat actually does talk, it's awful.
Oh yeah, it's
just a loop.
Imagine taking my face right here. Okay, I'm not going to ask you to edit this. My face right here. And just a black circle opening and closing. That's it. That's it.
And add words to it.
Yeah. A drunken actor.
Basically, it's just, I think they just, copied a goldfish's mouth and whatnot, and just put it onto the cat, and then decided, alright, you drunk actor, just say words, and we'll put it together in post and look fantastic.
There was one thing with the in-post editing. When, you didn't quite notice, or at least you didn't comment, when the magic glowing stuff was happening, there was one really out of place green glowing ball.
Yeah, there was this ball, and the guy noticed it though.
Yeah,
He followed
the one
it.
guy, the one main dad guy.
Everyone else was looking straight at the cat. He was like, "What the fuck is that?"
You know, they just put that in just because he ended up looking up.
I think he
That's
looked
it.
up faster than he was supposed to,
Uh-huh.
and they just decided, like, all right, we've done enough takes.
Yes.
Let us move on.
And we should move on as well. Any other segments of the movie, or do you want to move on to final thoughts?
Fucking cheese puffs.
Cheese puffs! So she makes pastries, and the entire second and third act of the movies revolve around her, for her investor meeting, making these cheese puffs.
And she goes off the deep end about her kids not
Yeah.
staying home and helping her and
Like,
whatnot.
look, okay.
It's like, you're in serious trouble for not helping me with making my cheese puffs.
This is a cheese puff tray, alright? The main dad character comes over, and then he sees Duffy's there. He didn't expect to see Duffy. So what does he do? He goes, oh, gee, I'm sorry, but what does she do? You son of a bitch. I'll kill you! Pretty much. Tone it down a little bit, but
Not by too much.
not by too much. She's just
And
off
then
it.
she goes batshit crazy later on when she actually drives up to the house, which is actually kind of funny because everyone else walks there and they're obviously neighbors.
Yeah, they're within at least 2 minutes. of
Which
walking.
in reality is bullshit because both the house that they shoot the dad, the main stuff in, and then the other family's smaller house is obviously not only two very different neighborhoods, but probably two different parts of the fucking state.
And that's really what it comes down to. Suspension of disbelief.
They literally say, they basically are telling you from the first shots of the movie, yeah, we're not going to try to get you to just suspend your disbelief. You just gotta do it.
But that's where it comes in. Also, this is a kid's film. And we have to respect that aspect, that this is a children's film.
This is pandering to kids' intelligence.
It is. That's
It's
the real
really
issue.
bad. I mean, like,
They don't even like it.
when I was growing up, I mean, obviously I'm comparing this to animated films and whatnot, but when I was growing up, like, the movies that are constantly, that I watched all the time were movies from Don Bluth, like Land Before Time, An American Tail, All Dogs Go to Heaven. They had their comedic elements, they had their kids' elements and whatnot, but still at the very end, it taught a lesson. It was fucking depressing, especially in American Tail.
Straight up Disney.
It wasn't Disney, but he was a Disney person. Like, that's the way it is with Disney movies, too. My favorite animated film of all time is Millennium Actress, which isn't a Disney film, but at the same time, though, the whole movie is fucking sad. It's all about how this one girl spends her entire life tracking after this one solitary person who she spends literally the course of over 50 years trying to find, and guess what? At the end of the movie, she still doesn't get to fucking find him.
So after that review of Millennium Actress, we
But
move back onto a talking cat?
But the thing is, though, all of these different types of movies, and then also you get into actual kids' movies. There are plenty of legit kids' movies that are actually very well done, and they're not necessarily animated films. They don't always pander to people's intelligence. Because pandering to the kids' intelligence, not only does it have no respect for your audience, but at the same time, it has no respect for the people who are putting in the time and effort to make your film.
Yeah.
And if you are putting in the time and effort, and also if the estimated budget of this movie, which was like $1 million on IMDb, if that was right, then that was one fucking hell of a waste of $1 million.
It went towards paying off his mortgage.
Probably. I mean, but like there was the movie that we saw after that part, like Fluke. That movie was made for $15 million in 1995, racked in about $3 million. But the thing is, though, it
wasn't really.
was an A to a B-list cast.
Yeah, but no. The main problem was it's a talking animal movie that is not oriented towards kids. That's where the problem was. They have talking animals, but things die a lot in Fluke.
Yeah, they do. There's a lot.
This is
there.
a review for Fluke, though.
Yeah.
Talking cat. Fucking talking cat. Final thoughts. I'm done with this.
Final thoughts. It is one of the worst films that we have done for the show. I know I say that every couple of episodes,
Yeah.
but the thing is, though, There's so much shit out there. And the thing is, because we live in a time of basically media inflation, where the more and more we get into the future, the more and more shit that gets produced. So the more and more shit that gets produced, the more and more actual shit is produced. So basically, for every good kids film, you have at least 50 bad ones. Same thing with every other genre. This is definitely toward the top. And this came out this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Most recent, 2013.
So this is the most recent in this guy's filmography. I hold no breath for the potential for this guy's career after this point.
A talking pony.
No!
It's coming out.
No!
Check it. Okay. My final thoughts.
Would you check
My
this?
My final thoughts. I'm trying to get into the mindset that it is a kid's film. We try to stay away from kids' films because they are kids' films. They're not meant for us.
Yeah.
It's like trying to watch a Tyler Perry film. We just don't get it. But...
Well, I get it, but it's still not funny.
But... I don't understand why it had to be so bad. Like, this guy, he's making... What was that one? Actor/model? 1313 actor/model? That is schlock. That is bottom of the barrel schlock. Why did he go into a kid's film? I'll never understand.
He's probably got a handful, and he started doing horror films.
Exactly.
He started doing horror films and shit for Roger Corman, these slasher B-grade monster flicks.
And sometimes when you go horror to any other thing, that genre will sometimes leak from his horror. So you'll get something that's unintentionally creepy. Nothing in here was unintentionally creepy. Maybe the first draft of the script was unintentionally creepy somehow, but he toned it way too far down to the point where it's bland, boring, not creative in the smallest bit. It's just there. It is filler on Netflix. It's using up their bandwidth. That being said, I would not suggest this for any kids even. Because there's a whole thing. Look, adults won't like it because it's just a stupid, oh look, two families because of a talking cat, ha, whimsical. Kids won't like it because there's so much that's just not caring. It's not bright and colorful. The only thing that would work is if you turn away from the screen because there's whimsy music. That's it. That's all there is.
It's just the thing is though, this isn't also one of those films like before we watched the movie. One of the things that we said was worse than The Room and Troll 2. Now the thing is though, The Room and Troll 2, I actually like watching. Because they're bad, and they're not so bad it's good. They're bad, they're horribly bad, but they're enjoyably bad.
Right. We, on ShitFlix, try to find the opposite side of that. They're bad, they're horribly bad, but they're not enjoyably bad.
They're so painfully, uncomfortably...
They make us want to die.
And they never fucking end. Even though this movie was an hour and 20 minutes?
Yep.
Which, the last,
half hour, just slow motion.
It's just nothing about the movie was at all good or competent.
No.
Now, I will say the one thing, the director, his whole philosophy behind making these movies is the fact that he wants to make movies that he wants to make. Fine, I understand that. I actually understand that more ways than one, because that's how I am when it comes down to me making my own projects. But at the same time, there needs to be something that holds your audience. A little fraction that makes your audience want to come back, or at least stay in their fucking seats while the goddamn movie is rolling.
Alright, I think we're done. All in all, bad movie. Do not recommend. But we did learn one thing from this movie, Matt. We learned that animals can talk.
All the bad boys want some more.